Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's video is a bit of a different video. We are going to be talking about the pretty much as far and long range as we can go. So at this point, I just want to say that this is a kind of a speculation forecast, just seeing what the models are showing, trying to see if there's any trend of of whatever. And again, these videos are less accurate because of how far out it is. And again, there is going to be activity in the short to medium range, but I do like focusing sometimes on the far out range and looking back on the video a few weeks later, whether or not it was correct and whether or not it was accurate. And it's just kind of exciting, more exciting than in the short range, kind of just looking out what's to come in the future, because usually the models show something exciting, and sometimes that's wrong, but it's still very fun to look at. So that's why I like doing that, and that's what we'll be talking about today. So as you can tell by the title, yeah, a growing probability that some sort of a cool down, a large wave of cool air, maybe an Arctic outbreak potentially, and for fall, obviously, relative, and potentially snow. And again, maybe not a giant snowstorm, but definitely snow, So yeah, we'll be talking about that as well. So if you guys are new to this channel, hello and welcome. Watch the video, watch the channel, see if you like it, and if you do like it, consider subscribing, consider liking the video, and if you have any comments, leave them down below, and I will be answering as many as I can. Okay, let's start talking about the long range pattern. So first off, I want to look at the European model, and this isn't just because I want to talk about the long range doesn't mean that I won't focus on it at all, or I won't focus on the short range at all. So I do want to focus a few minutes on this, and I do want to point out that Thursday, so really just tomorrow, there will be some rain and potentially quite a bit of it across the plains and obviously across the Northeast. A large severe weather day today there, lots of flooding. Obviously I couldn't stream or whatnot. I was at school, and that's why I'm uploading this video a bit later, because well, it's pretty busy around here, unfortunately. But notice that we do into Friday see showers and storms spill into Minnesota, the northern plains. They do weaken as they push towards the east. Unfortunately, we would benefit from that rain a bit here in my area, but I guess the weather has something a bit different in store for us. But notice Kansas, Missouri, they do end up seeing some showers and storms. Again, these will be scattered, not the whole state of Missouri will be seeing them, just a few pockets, and this model is favoring it towards the south. And notice that this low pressure very weak, and it's just spinning away some showers, storms, and really, yeah, that's basically the story of it. So again, it really performs the next few days the most, and then it kind of just dies off. And as we push forward into Monday, Tuesday, notice little systems do develop from this, and this is just one of, I think, a couple that do develop from that little trough. And notice some shower storms across the Great Lakes. Nothing too powerful, more of like a fall-oriented storm, if you will. And it does bring down a bit of cool air. Notice how these kind of curve down, and this allows the cool air to kind of pool across this location. And notice there's some sort of tropical storm, this system right there the European shows. And then it does kind of start showing more of just a quiet pattern. This is actually very unusual. Look how quiet the European went with its long range, right? GFS, let's take a glance at the MSLP and precipitation, and it really shows similar things up until the 240 hours, just a bit more active. Notice that's the weekend system. You could see really the late week into the weekend across the plains, the Minnesota area, the Dakotas. Look at all the shower storms across Missouri. Notice this model favors northern Missouri and northern Kansas versus the European more south. Then again, it spills into the Northeast, showers and storms, and that's pretty much it for that storm. Tuesday, Wednesday, you could see a bit of showers across the Great Lakes. Look at that into Pennsylvania, Michigan, a bit more vigor than what the European shows. Some tropical activity across the south, barely reaching the Louisiana area, but it does, and really maybe even some sort of a tropical depression hitting the folks right here. So that's something to note. Notice another system develops right there. According to the GFS, the European does not develop this. The GFS does. Brings in just more cool air. And this is where they start kind of, again, disagreeing. So if you recall, the European shows a much quieter pattern. The GFS doesn't really show a massive system, but it does show scattered areas of showers, storms, and, it's very warm at this time here. And you could tell that because of how the isobars are labeled, so obviously this would not be anything cool. And that's the thing, that this cool off might be preceded by a lot of warm air, and some of the models do show that, and I want to show you this. Yeah, it will be hot, maybe not hundreds, because of, well, the fact is it's already September, so it's going to be harder for the atmosphere to heat up to such levels, but definitely still capable of producing hot temperatures. So some daily showers and storms are possible. You can see there's our low pressure, but look what starts happening. So we do see that snow obviously across the mountains. That's been going on for a while. And look, the GFS for the past several model runs has been showing a system that does develop very strong system, and it does bring some level of cool air, if not very cold air, and some snow. You can see a lot of southern Canada right here, kind of not really a snowstorm, but look at that, northern Ontario seeing snow into Quebec, and that's very, very chilly air, bringing the first frost to many across the Great Lakes and northern Minnesota area. And it's September 17th at that time, so it's how do I say this? It's definitely something that at that time of the year isn't unusual. That's what I was looking for. That's what I wanted to say. There's our anomaly, and notice that again, this is very far out, as I mentioned. This is kind of more of a speculation, but notice that there is cool air, and it's rather intense. The GFS here did show some of that snow, and I want to quickly just glance at it. Well, okay, so the snow forecast part of this model doesn't go past the 2 hour 222, so it's still processing. But yeah, notice a large system, large storms, definitely a period of quiet after these little troughs bring some cooler air, followed by some heat, and then potentially that larger system. Now, you may be looking, okay, so that's nothing impressive. Well, let's just take a look back at what the GFS showed a model run prior. So again, that pattern, notice a bit of rain. We do see that warm air rising. Isobars are located from the southwest to the northeast orientation, so this brings in a lot of that warm air, and the temperature anomalies do agree with that. Look at that, almost 20 degrees above average in portions of the Minnesota area. And as we push this forward, look at that, a lot of cold air right there. Calgary seeing snow out of that. Large cities that haven't seen snow yet for this time of for this season are going to be seeing their first snow. And look at that, September into much of northern Montana. Look at that, northeastern Wyoming, seeing some snowfall, not just the mountains at this point. And the GFS does start forming this system right way further to the south. Now, it doesn't go past the 84 hour, which again is why it's so long range. But you could figure out that if there were some sort of a system to develop here, and again, this is speculation, it's very far out, but if there were to be some sort of a storm and it rode kind of the typical north to northeast kind of track, it would develop a large cold front, a warm front, and obviously on the backside, look how much cold air there is here. It would definitely be able to tap into that cold reservoir and potentially develop a swath of snow here, maybe even a significant one across maybe North Dakota, Minnesota, southern Canada, Montana. It's definitely something that's possible. Versus the newer run of the GFS develops this system, but much further to the north, so that swath of snow occurs more into Canada. So there's a lot of details to be kind of focused on, but for sure this cold air mass is very, very impressive. Just like this warm air mass, where it's up, where it's cool, there has to be an area that is very warm, and that's what we've been seeing. And that's what usually the weather consists of. I want to see the North American view. You can see that air mass extends all the way into the Arctic Circle. So yeah, quite a bit of chilly temperatures. Obviously, first frosts and snow for many, regardless of if it's not a pattern change or whatever I'm trying to point out here, right? Canadian model, 240 hours out. Let's take a glance at its 2-meter temperature anomaly. Let's just stay on the North American view. Again, here's Canada, Alaska, U.S., Mexico. And notice that there's going to be a bit of cool air in the short range, right? But followed by some heat. And the Canadian isn't really too aggressive with the heat. Keeps more of that cool air. And again, it only goes out to 240, so it doesn't really show the pattern change that I'm kind of wanting to show you guys. Now, just off the GFS, I wouldn't be making this video, but I was looking at the Climate Prediction Center and what they're showing for September. So this is what they're showing. Usually, we're almost in a La Nina, and we'll probably go into one during the September timeframe if we're not in one already. I haven't checked the status of that in a bit. Usually it favors a warm fall, and this year, honestly, it's looking like it might be as well. But look what they put for September. A lot of areas that are just. I was surprised they didn't put in the heat. They didn't put in above average. They kept it blank. Now, obviously, it's probably going to be filled in with either one of two colors, the blue or the red. There will be a few areas that see a close to normal September, but it's almost impossible to get one where it's just normal. So what they're showing here is that there's lack of confidence and potentially a sign of cool air. Obviously, they're orienting this more towards the south with potential tropical storm activity that will cool off with cloud cover and whatnot. But it's definitely a bit interesting that they're not just going with the all-out warm pattern, and that's a sign that towards the long range, maybe they're seeing something I'm not as well. But we're looking at a similar thing, just maybe they have another detail to it with their more sophisticated technology. Notice that's the 3 to 4 week outlook, right? So this is kind of the middle of September. It does show that cool air across the northern plains. Now it's not as expansive as what the GFS was showing, but it's definitely there. And usually this 3 to 4 week outlook is biased towards the warmth. I've been tracking this for the past year, really. Every Friday they put one out. And more often than not, they put out way more warmth than cold air, which is, I guess, fair enough. But yeah, definitely something that I've noticed is, look at that, the little cool air right there. They wouldn't put that out for no reason, especially if they are usually a bit biased towards the warmth. I do want to show you individual ensembles now for the GFS family, and unfortunately I can't show you the entire United States with this model, with this website. It just shows individual parts, so I just focused on the Midwest. I will show you kind of the northwestern United States region as well, because that's the region we're kind of watching for that pattern change. And notice this goes out to 384. We have a bunch of models, 31 of them, and I want to point something out. Notice that, again, a lot of activity towards the long range, a lot of these systems kind of going from southeast to the northeast, again, capable of tapping into that cold air. And look, so we do see a lot of rain, but look, some right there, one starts showing a lot of snow across Wyoming, definitely out ahead of schedule, 16th of September. And then really quickly more start adding on. Look at that one, quite a bit of cold air. I do, realize it's far out, but what I'm trying to say is that around this same time frame, there's many models that show a definite increase of chillier air. Now, again, this isn't something to go right home about, right? But notice, again, a little bit of chilly air right there as well. And I can't show you the temperature anomaly because it's not an option. I guarantee you, at this time frame, if I were to show you it, there would be various models that show very cold air up here, because in order to produce snow, right, that takes quite a bit of cold air, especially at this time of the year. Some of them develop deep low pressures, which all of them at one point bring down some chilly air. And I can show you different regions, and that's what I want to show you. So let's take a look at. I showed you the Midwest, the northwestern United States. Let's see what this kind of shows in the long range. And notice a lot more activity as well for the Northwest, indicating of a pattern change. Usually, the Northwest sees most of its precipitation in the fall and winter months. So that's a sign of already a change. Notice, look at that right there across Montana, snowfall. It's not extraordinary, but it's definitely noticeable on the map. It kind of brings your attention. Again, unfortunately, I can't show you the temperature anomaly, but I could, figure that there is quite a bit of chilly air at this point with some of these models. Again, it's not many, but the GFS does agree with some of these, and it's been kind of a back and forth battle, and well, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Another feature I want to show you with this model with this website, is the European members. So this is 50 European ensembles, and I want to take a look again at the snowfall. It doesn't take a look. It doesn't show temperature, unfortunately. But obviously, if you were to take a look at the snowfall, where it shows snow even across these areas in September, this goes out till September, 15 days, so September 16th. It obviously would take a lot of cold air in order to produce this, even across Colorado and Wyoming. And obviously, it's happened before. Last year it happened similarly. But look, some of the ensembles are showing the snow. A lot of them aren't, and a lot of them are just showing more, again, what would be a warm pattern. But every so often, you get a model that starts showing quite a bit, either across British Columbia, so it's showing at least a cold pattern further upstream, or just one that again introduces more across the northwest and more across. Again, there's quite a bit that don't show really nothing at all. But yeah, you can see there's another one from the European ensemble. There's another one showing some of that snow. The control, which is kind of the European itself, what we call 360 hours out, doesn't really show much. So that's again assuming more of a warmer pattern. Let me just click through many of these. Again, let's see how many colder scenarios we can find. That's one that shows right there across South Dakota. That would take at least some bit of cold air to produce. There's one that shows quite a bit. Again, that would take a lot of cold air to produce that. And it's every six ensembles we look at, it shows that. And all the other ones, they do show some snow, which would still take a bit of cold air to say the least to produce. And there's some that just show an all-out, snowy regime across those states, which would take, again, very cold air, but that's why there's so few of them showing it. But there's definitely something that, this isn't far out. This is 360 hours that we'll have to watch for. And yeah, definitely some ensembles that are showing a more of a snowier pattern. Look at that one right there. And if we were to take a look at the GFS ensemble snowfall outlook, I already showed you these, but I was showing you the actual radar versus the snowfall outlook. And notice that some of them do show it as early as the 13th of September. Some snow, generally not widespread, but definitely a few pockets of it. But then towards the end, look what starts happening. A lot of models join in, some with rather impressive amounts of it. So this is, I would say about a fourth of the models showing a colder and snowier pattern, similar to what the GFS is kind of trying to show. This is the 18-hour, or sorry, yeah, the more updated one, but you can still see it's coming in. It only goes out to hour 306. So I mean, we could see what it shows up until then. And yeah, you can see up to hour 300, not much, a bit, but again, it's mainly in that last kind of 100 hours where it starts showing that. So definitely something we'll have to keep an eye on. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. It's kind of just more of like a speculation again video about the long range, but I think these are fun, and seeing how accurate the models are as we get towards the 15th, 16th, and we'll be able to see, how well of a job they did predicting this. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you all on the next episode. See ya.